want y'all to watch this video from an Asian gentleman speak about a man by the name of Vincent Chin who had his life taken from him in 1982 and what the late Reverend Jesse Jackson did. Check it out.
The Reverend Jesse Jackson just passed, and to tell you about Jesse Jackson, let me tell you about Vincent Chin. Vincent was a 27-year-old Chinese man who was beaten to death on the night of his bachelor party in 1982. After an argument at a bar in Detroit, two auto workers followed him to a McDonald's parking lot where they took turns beating him with a baseball bat. They murdered a Chinese man for the loss of American jobs to Japanese competition. Despite the overwhelming evidence, eyewitness accounts, the two murderers were fined $3,000 and received no jail time. Now, Asian Americans weren't used to political activism. Politics got us killed in our home countries. But this was different because it was so heinous, and this was America. So Vincent's family organized, rallied, marched for justice for Vincent. And at the front of the march was Jesse Jackson. He flew up to Detroit and brought national attention to a story that otherwise might have been totally ignored. Later, during his 1984 presidential campaign, he held a rally with Vincent's mother in San Francisco's Chinatown. Jesse Jackson didn't let America forget what they did to her son. Look, I know there have been tensions between black and Asian communities in this country, poor immigrant families and black families fighting for the same scraps in the same neglected neighborhoods in the same cities. But Reverend Jackson showed us the way out. He called for a national rainbow coalition, a new solidarity among poor and working class people of all races and ethnicities. We're not there yet. But thanks to Reverend Jesse Jackson, we're still marching.
So as you saw there, he told the story of Vincent Chin and what happened to him in 1982 by the hands of white men. And the white man basically got a slap on the wrist until Jesse Jackson showed up and demanded justice for what happened to him and not let America forget what happened to Vincent. And so he also said that, you know, at that time, especially, Asians weren't politically active because they were taught that in their own countries, wherever they come from, Japan, China, wherever, that protesting could cost you your life, right? So when they came over to America, they kind of had the same ideology, like, no, I know what happened to us was terrible, but he basically said that it was black Americans that, hey, showed them the blueprint and that, hey, you could fight, especially with that of Jesse Jackson through his Rainbow Coalition. And I love to hear stories like that because, unfortunately, a lot of times black Americans, we don't get the recognition that we deserve. And I'm not saying that we're perfect. We're not perfect, but it does feel nice to hear people say, hey, you know what? I know that relations between our communities is not good, but as he said at the end, it should be, because that's what the Rainbow Coalition was striving to do, right? Unite, in a sense, the oppressed people, not just of the United States, but the earth. And you know who the oppressor is, right? So the oppressed people have the same thing in common. We are oppressed in every way, shape, and form. Yeah, some of the oppressed people might have a little bit more money, but yeah, especially with this Trump administration, we're learning that if you ain't got some billions in the bank, oh yeah, you're going to get some oppression, right? Whether you lose your job, your farms, you're going to have a AI data center put in your backyard in your nice suburban neighborhood or whatever it is. As I said, Trump is administration is a great equalizer. He's like, everybody could get it. As I always say, white supremacy hates white people too. Okay, so with Jesse Jackson Rainbow Coalition, he had everybody. But see, eventually everybody is going to wake up and say, hey, we've been taught to fight each other instead of fight with each, like together against the oppressor. We got to stop doing that. Now, of course, we as black Americans, we know we got to get our thing going first before we can help everybody else, because we have been helping everybody else while our building, in a sense, burns to the ground. And so we're learning to not do that. Again, it doesn't mean, and I'm speaking for myself, I can't speak for anybody else, that we don't care about other people. I care about a lot of people. I really do. Other communities and things like that. But I got to care about my community first, because the first law of nature is what? Self-preservation. We have to preserve ourselves first. Then we can go about saying, hey, our foundation is rock solid. We got the building all the way going, and we got all the bells and the whistles all up in the inside. And yes, our money is flowing, things like that. Maybe we can help you. But see, the other thing too is, like the Asian gentleman was saying, it's going to take for the others to come help black Americans too. we can't always put our cape on to help everybody else, because we've been asking people, hey, why don't you get in line, or, behind us or with us or whatever it is, and tell this government to give us reparations for the original sin of America. See, if y'all help us do that, boy, I tell you, it'll be a game changer. It really will, and especially the relationship between the Black and Asian community, as he said, has not always been good, because a lot of times, yeah, they move into our neighborhoods with stores and different things, and they don't always treat us right. Now, I will say there are a lot of Asian businesses that do. Okay, they do treat us right. They have Black folks working in the stores, and things like that. So we don't want to blanket everybody, but yeah, he's right. At the end of the day, when we stop all this foolishness, this infighting, outfighting, whatever it is, and we realize we all got the same oppressor, boy, this world gonna change. I promise you. So anyway, y'all let me know what you think of that. And for more insightful commentary, please subscribe to this channel and my channel, The Demetra Kaye Show, here on YouTube. Peace.